Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller of School Network. And if you want to be a millionaire, I have the guest for you. So we have Jing Wang, and she is going to tell us all about her school community and how to be tax-free and a millionaire. So, Jing, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, how you got started on this journey?
Definitely. Thank you, Cynthia, for having me. As you can see, I'm an Asian. I came from China originally. Having been here 26 years, I've gone through a lot. The Altus Millionaire Club came from my own experience. When I say we, meaning my husband and I, we accumulate multiple uh, no. We accumulate multiple millions of dollars the last 20 plus years with a lot of trials and errors, lessons and failures. I really want to share my life experience with a lot of people, as many as I can.
That's awesome. I'm gonna, just so you know, I'm gonna leave your link to your school community in the comments so people can sign up for your free community. And there's also an upgrade if they want to learn at a deeper level too.
Yes, that's true.
So, what were some of the things that, like your goal? Because you do a lot with tax-free stuff, and what is the one mistake that a lot of people are making that is keeping them from becoming a millionaire?
You mentioned the tax. It's actually one of the factors. I have been painfully not removing, converting our traditional RA to Roth RA because we were not taxed on the dollar inside of the traditional RA account. Most of them are from different jobs. When we switch jobs, the 401k became the traditional RA money. So one factor for the tax, in my school community, we do this tax double the money game, right? With the tax impact versus without, you're not saying a small amount of changes. You see significantly smaller amount. If you will start taxing on the dollar whenever you can flip the coin and double your money. So this tax impact is one of the major factor in everybody's wealth accumulation.
I know for me, my house got hit by a tornado and I had to get like a new
Oh,
roof and
I'm sorry.
ceiling and all that stuff. I actually cashed in, I was a teacher and we have like a pension plus where it's like a 401 plus a pension. And I cashed
Mhm.
in some of that money and it was like, I think 20%, if not more. It was like a big hit that I took. Um, so when we're investing, I don't even know like the difference between the 401 and the Roth and um, some of the different, as a business owner, people that they want to sign up to start their own school community. I have a link in my bio for that as well. Jing's will be in the comments, but starting your own business, you can have tax write-offs. So what would you say would be the three most important things to kind of focus on to start building your road to wealth?
Well, the first top priority is education, right? You have to know it. Before you know it, you will not be able to do the right thing. So equip yourself with the right knowledge. That's the first step. The second step is start doing, not go into the paralysis analysis
Yeah.
stage. A lot of us, including me, I want to learn this. Oh, there's a new something coming out. Let me learn that. And that's another thing. The third one is pay attention to the cash flow. Pay attention to how much tax you're paying, right? How much are you increasing your revenue, your profit if you're doing the business, trending it, right? Having some visualization. I have an app. It's a very basic app I developed so people can move the bar, changing the rate of return so they have that visualization. Oh, now I can have this after 5 years if I do this. Oh, this is my pie chart, how much I have here, how much I have there.
Right.
So with that discipline, with that chart, it will give you that big picture instead of you just sometimes we life is all busy, right? Everybody everybody has a very busy life. If you don't trend it, if you don't have that visualization, things will just go by. You just in that rat race. Yes,
Right,
you have six figures, you have this, but you pay a lot of tax back to Uncle Sam. In the
right,
meantime, you have so much expense you have to pay, right? By the end of the year, coming next year, you repeat the whole cycle.
yeah,
You don't have money saved. If I don't have money saved, how can I invest? Where is the money? How can I accumulate wealth? So with the right education, with the action step, you have to do it. And then with some help, with tools, visualization, trending, doing the chart, it will help you pave the road so you will know, oh, this year even I can only save 10K. Maybe
right,
next year I can save 20K. The next year
yeah,
maybe there's I can find another 50,000 maybe, right? Because your income for everybody, we have a golden window for high income, right? We
right.
have to prepare, well, the first 20 something years, right? We grow up, we're in the
Yeah.
education mode, right?
I
The
made
growth mode.
335 an hour from my first job. 335. And then
That's
I got
probably
a
many,
raise
many
to
years ago.
355.
Yeah. And then we have to prepare to the latter stage of our
Yeah,
life, right? The golden retirement age. So we only have that window. If we do the education, we actually act on our personal finance. And then we have the visualization, the tools, the right task bracket. Within that window, you want to accumulate as much tax-free wealth as possible. One thing I want to just mention, the biggest thing about tax is if you have compared the traditional RA or traditional account versus Roth account, traditional RA, because every dollar is not taxed, and then you are sharing that money, that box of money, even it's 100K or 10 million or 10 billion, whatever, you're sharing that with Uncle Sam.
oh,
And who's in charge of how much that Uncle Sam will get?
good point.
Uncle Sam, Uncle
Yeah.
Sam. If, say, we're in a very turbulent age now, right, with all the, political, the bombing, but he's the one to say, okay, 20% is mine, so you keep
Mhm.
the 80%. If he comes back saying, hey, 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 no, it's this world, now we have that, we have this, 80% is mine. What
Right.
can you do? You have no power to say anything about how much money you will
Well,
get.
plus I was
That
losing,
power.
like when you watch how it would fluctuate, there was time I'm like, why am I investing in this? There was times
Exactly.
that made
The
sense, but I'm
inflation.
like, I was supposed to increase it, and it's like lower than last time I checked it.
Yeah, there's the dollar amount of there's the number of the dollar amount. There's also the buying power. The
True.
inflation will eat the actual buying power of the dollar. So $100 30 years ago versus $100 now,
Right.
it's huge difference. Thinking about that, we're talking about the Roth IRA in 30 years versus a traditional IRA in 30 years. That's a huge difference.
What do you think about Social Security? Do you think that that's going to keep being afloat, or do you think that's going to kind of implode?
Well, I don't know, I don't remember the exact year. People are saying by that year 20 something. It's a nobody can it's a deficit, right? Nobody can
Right.
get any money from the SSA, the Social Security Administration. It's scary. I don't want to rely on the government, on the country. I'd rather build up my own wealth with whatever my ability. For every one of us, there's a finite number we could accumulate in our lifetime. That's why I grasp that window, boost up your ability to earn income, boost up your ability to keep it with the right knowledge, with the right tool, with the right mindset, right? It's
Right.
all about the whole, in I call it the financial pie, right? The
Right.
pie, Uncle Sam is always there.
He
The
loves he
US
loves pie.
and the percentage, how much the slice to
Right.
Uncle Sam is not on us.
Right.
It's his decision, right? So when we will just use whatever the tools, whatever we our knowledge to minimize the pie, but the minimize the percentage of Uncle Sam. He will always be there because he doesn't want to give you the free money, right? There's
Yeah.
one thing which is triple tax free, which is the FSA and HSA account, the flexible spending account or the health spending account. It's tax-free money into the account, tax-free growth, and tax-free distribution if you use for medical expenses. But that's not difficult to me by
But do you
everybody.
lose
By
that money? Like this year I had surgery. It would have been great, but usually I don't need surgeries and I'm healthy. Um, is that wise to do
you
if you don't have health issues?
Well, it really depends on how your company is setting it up. Some of the account will be the use it or lose it type of deal, right?
Right.
You don't want to put excess amount of money into those kind of account because by December 31st every year you lose them. But
Right.
there's a lot of administrative rules will give you those kind of flexible spending account. You will never lose the value, the dollar you put into those
Okay.
accounts. So maximize those ones. And a lot of the situation, you have to use a so-called high deductible health plan.
Right.
So that one account, a lot of people actually don't pay attention to that, but the triple net, I call it triple net tax-free account, HSA, FSA account, you can actually self-direct that out to buy properties, to invest in companies. But a lot of people really don't know that. You have to hire a custodian to set the account up. So there's a learning curve, there's money involved because you have to set up another entity.
Is that like full entities or stocks that you suggest?
Those are another entity.
Okay.
Yeah,
So is
either
your stuff
LLC.
mainly investment or starting businesses or kind of a mix of both?
I don't talk much about stocks, and a stock is personal preference. There's a lot of advantages of stocks, right? But to me, I'd rather have the money either in real estate or in private companies, or I be the lender, I be the bank, right? I know who I lend the money to, and then I have whatever necessary collateral to protect my money. You can put your money into the stocks, but as we all know, most people will lose money when you put money into the stocks.
Yeah.
I right now I don't have anything in the stock market. I will either be all the money either be a cash or it will be in a rental property or private money lending.
When you rent to people, are people usually pretty good or are they destructive?
It's mixed. I have very, very good tenant. They never miss any of the payment. I have people I have to go to the court. I have people they just renting me, and there's a lawsuit that it's really a mix of people, mix of the tenant you will get. But another thing for real estate investing is even IRS qualify this as a passive income per the tax code, but in reality, it's active income. There's
Right.
a lot of management work you have to do, manage the people, manage the maintenance, the repair,
Yeah.
maintenance of the property itself, as well as all the logistics, right? There's people move in, move out, so there's the
Oh,
paperwork,
yeah.
documentation, legal side. It's really not passive income.
Is there a
But
difference in the tax bracket for or tax rate for active, like as a teacher or passive income? Or is it just the same?
Well, the passive income, it's you report it either Schedule C or Schedule E. Most of the real estate investing will go to Schedule E. But say if you have an Airbnb, most of the case people report it into Schedule C as an active business. But just a quick disclaimer, we're just sharing some educational purpose, no tax, legal, or financial advice, right? But there's also another thing called REPS, real estate professional status. So because if you are qualified as the real estate professional status, you could offset some of your W-2 income as well. So there's a lot of things you should study, and you should talk to your own tax professional to really figure out. Everybody is at a very different stage, right? To figure
Right.
out
And
what is
different states too.
exactly. Figure out which one is the best one you could utilize. Remember, RS wants you to save money. RS incentivize people like us to be a small business owner because all of the big company, they all start with small, maybe one people, two people, three people.
Right.
But we create jobs, right? So there's a lot of incentive for people to be on their own to set up something. So the tax code to write it. It's not to penalize anyone. It's just to have the rules everybody obeys. If
Right.
you're bold enough to be a self-employed, to be a boss, to be the head of your company, IRS wants to incentivize you to give you tax breaks, to give you this tax write-offs. So there's a lot of things we all need to learn before we start doing anything related to the tax strategies.
Have you ever done anything with like grants or anything? Would that be helpful or is that too hard to get?
I personally did not. A grant will be good for just say I have a specific what the right words, like a
Like a
patent, or
mission?
in yeah, I have like a specific product. I can go with the grant. I can find SBA loans. What I'm doing is basically investing in real estate. So there might be some like a small grant for starting up your own business, but not like a huge grant for creating a brand new company with a brand new idea for service or product. I personally did not do that, any of that.
So for real estate, is it smarter to get a bunch of like $50,000 houses or should you go after like the $450,000 ones? What?
Well, it really depends on your strategy, right? I was suggesting other people to just try it out and maybe study and see which one is the best one you could do. You could buy the small, very small, tiny houses and you fix it up, you sell it, you flip it. You
Right.
could also buy the mid-tier, just do a long-term rental. You could buy a good one in a say near national park and make an Airbnb all midterm rental. You could also play with paper money. There's a note, the promissory note, either
Right.
performing or non-performing. There's so many different lanes of real estate investing, although it's all under the umbrella of real estate investing, but there's so many different things. If you want to invest in performing note, it's very different. It's drastic different versus you buy a $50,000 house, put another 50,000 or 30,000, try to sell it to 120 or 150,000.
Right.
So it's very different. It really depends on your what you want to do, what makes you feel comfortable, and your resources.
Right. I know growing up, my dad's friend had a real estate business, and what he would do, we're from the Detroit area. Now I'm in like another mini Detroit, but like on the outskirts. But what he would do is he would go and buy like kind of distressed properties, maybe $20,000, and he would rent it out for a period of 10 years. And in order to get on-time payments and then also longevity, he would say, if you live here for 10 years, fix it up. Then at the end of 10 years, the house is yours. So it would have to break down, financially, but that's how he did it. And he ended up Like he was pretty well off.
Yeah, that's very similar to the strategy, one of the strategy I'm using. We call it contract for deed, right? We buy the smaller houses, 30 to 50,000, and do exactly what you were saying.
Do
Try
you
to
have any
find
houses in Florida? You're about to make a sale right now.
Yeah,
Do you do
that's
it just
great.
in one area though to keep it?
Right. No, actually, it right now our property cross different states, and I do want to stay in one state, but sometimes opportunity will present itself, so we just grasp it. Especially in the very beginning, I'm also learning this, learning that, and try to figure out what will be the best way. But we have properties in several different states.
So tell me a little bit more about the actual school community. Like, I know some do like discussion boards or live chats, or they do different courses. What are some of the things that you offer inside your school community?
Definitely. So right now, the school community, we have a course. We will have different tiers to you could unlock the course and or you could just buy the course alone. I have people just they are interested for the course itself, but I always encourage people to work with another group of like-minded people, right? It will make yourself move things
That's true too.
much. Exactly. And we have weekly calls. I call it AMA, Ask Me Anything. We have blocked hours for people to come in and join the discussion. And I always put a disclaimer there. If it's very specific to your situation, we will just direct you to talk to your own professional, right? We are not there to say, hey, you should do this, buy
Right.
this ticker, go do this, buy this, and then do all kinds of strategies. It's really about education. Everyone is different, like we what we mentioned. And then I try to right now I'm very into AI, all the tools. I'm
Oh, it's
also trying
amazing.
to yeah, get some tools for for my community members because the LLM it is trained by all the tax code and it's a massive amount of knowledge, right? The best way is to put the prompt there and add a little bit spice of your own situation, saying,
Mhm.
I have this situation, I'm facing this. What will be the advice or what kind of resources you could direct me to? And then that will save people a lot of resource and energy try to figure it out or pay five different people to sort
Yeah,
certain things out. And that's pretty much with what we are doing. Also, we want people to help other people, right? The
right.
same the same obstacle or same situation may help other people. Once you go through it, you might just give some concrete advice or at least some direction saying, oh, maybe you can do this and you can talk to this type of people. Oh, I think I know this particular terminology. This is related to this based on my experience, right?
Mhm.
The other party could just like, take a shortcut saying, okay, now I have to talk to say, I don't know, this set of professionals, even just say attorneys, right? There's so
Right.
many different attorneys.
Even
You
different kinds, you know?
exactly you want to find the right one. You want to find the one which will be give you the concrete. There's attorneys who if they're not familiar with this kind of law, sometimes they may not give you the right or concrete advice.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to put that community together so people can learn, not only learn from each other, people can also support each other. Because this journey, we all know it's not easy, right? It's not easy for everyone. But if you're just doing it alone, all by yourself, try to
yeah,
pull different pieces from all kinds of angle, sometimes you just divert yourself or you come back it's not even not efficient. It's really mentally exhausting, right?
right.
Sometimes you could just you think you're doing the right investment, then you lost money, or you want to do something, but the house was empty for 6 months. You just lost hope of being a landlord. So there's a lot of like mental support as well if you go with a group of people in this journey. It's super, super
So you don't
valuable.
feel so alone. Now,
Exactly.
to get started though, is there a certain amount of working capital, a certain amount of money that you would need, or are there ways to um, get approved for a mortgage or uh, I don't know how that would be. Would it be a second mortgage or
Well, there's a lot of ways, right? In one of the BOLD method, I call it the BOLD method, the BOLD, bank, ownership, leverage, and discipline. The leverage, we talk about OPM, other people's money. You could get promotional 0% APR. That's other people's money, right? The bank
right,
institutions. And then you don't really need a large capital. A lot of people fall into the trap saying, oh, I know it's this good. I want to do something. I don't have money. Let me save. It
right,
take them 5 years to finally save. Oh, now I have 100K. What do I do? The right thinking will be, what do I want to do? And then what can I do? Like we have the X-ray practice, right? X-ray means you go to do the X-ray to see the skeleton, right? To see
right,
the broken bones. Try to find the leakage. Maybe you have $200 on all kinds of subscription you don't even use.
right.
That's two. That's 2,400 for the whole year. That's a partial amount of your Roth IRA you could fund for the year, right?
Hmm.
And then what I try to ask people, just have a clear structure or clear understanding where you are now. Like as of today, what's your balance sheet? What's the total asset you have? What's the cash flow you have? What the tax bracket you have? How much money of tax you're paying every year? What can you do to save some of the tax? Any of the tax you saved become will become the actual money, right? The actual cash for you to use to make any kind of investment. And then in the meantime, you could also try to figure out, because there's always the learning, right? There's all kinds of moving parts. Even real estate, we figured out there's 5, 10 different asset class. Sometimes you can just figure out, do a, it's like a funnel, right? Pave it out horizon and know everything and pick up 1 or 2 lanes and stay there. Don't just
Do it.
find five lanes and then do 5 or even 10 lanes. Oh, I want to do this. You want to have the focus, but you don't really need save money. You need to find the money, find the leakage, find how much tax you're paying,
Yeah.
find the ways you could increase your personal credit, right? Makes yourself bankable. So you could use other people's money. There are institutions, they want their money to be moved. Why do you think why they're giving you 0% APR for 12 months, 18
Oh,
months?
I didn't think about it, but
They
you're right.
are,
Yeah.
but the reason behind it, they know if they gave, say, 500 people 0% APR, whatever the credit limit, 50,000, 250,000, by the deadline of 12 months or 18 months, there will be a percentage of people will get to pay the 24%, 30%, 28%. They
Yeah.
have no ability to pay whatever they have already used. For the bank institution, that's how they make money.
That's true.
Because
You
you
have to have a customer to make money.
exactly. That's like a not even a bait. Like they just want to have the money in move. They don't
Right.
want the money sitting on their balance sheet. If I'm the bank, I gave it to Sincere, you, it's no longer on my balance sheet. You're using it, right? You have that
Right.
amount. But I know there will be, probably it will not be you, but there will be people start paying me 20%,
Right.
28%. The highest I saw recently, 34%
Oh,
credit
you're
card
kidding
interest.
me. Did they
That's
ever have a cap
crazy.
at like 25%? Didn't they have it where they couldn't 25.8%? Can they just charge whatever they want?
There's a usury law, there's a maxim, but for the credit card company, I don't know why. Like mortgage, right? You cannot just randomly charging people
Right,
30% on the mortgage. But the credit card company, the credit card interest is always the highest.
right.
I just don't know how they can get away, but sometimes those percentages crazy, crazy amount. If you get yourself into that kind of credit debt, it can really, really drag you down fast.
Right.
A lot of people I actually personally know, after I start doing this, she's the victim of exactly what I was describing.
Mm,
At the end, she said it's just rolling it in a bad way. The compound effect of 28% can eat your cash flow very, very quickly. She had to file bankruptcy. There's no way she can come out of the
yeah.
hole.
I know for me, I wanted to buy a house right before COVID, and I think it was like 2.3 or 2.7% financing, but everything shut down. I didn't get a chance to get my house. And then I bought this one almost 2 years ago now, but I think my mortgage is 8.67%. My father, he paid 17.8, back in the 70s or whatever it was. So for in my situation at almost 9%, when would you suggest there's like refinancing? Is it worth the cost? And how much do you wait for it to drop?
Well, it's just my opinion, right? It's not professional. Most people said at least minimum, bare minimum, your current mortgage versus a refi mortgage, barely bare minimum 0.5%. Bare minimum. The
Okay.
the the higher the spread, if now it's 9%, if you can get to 5%, no brainer.
Right.
Also, you have to look at how many years you have been paying into this loan.
Yeah.
Because when you get a new refi, if it's 15 year or 30 year, no matter what term you're picking, the clock starts again. So if you're halfway through with 9%, you have to really do the calculation. That's where AI can really do this easily and give the scenario, give all the background information, give all the terms, and the Python, they can just do a quick, the AI can just do a quick Python calculation saying if you do this, how much money you actually save in the entire course of your new loan.
Right.
Since you're comparing
That's
your
true. It's like get that
9%.
knowledge base research.
Exactly. So it's not the simple say, okay, I save 0.5%. Now my monthly, a lot of infomercial or commercial will say, save 500 per month.
Right.
But you really have to know how much by the end of the term, how much interest you're paying because you're always paying back the principal at the end of the term, right? It's
Right.
mainly comparing how much the interest, the dollar amount you're paying versus the original. If you're already halfway through, you may it may make sense to stay at 9%. Even this
Right.
one is lower. So there always a balance. There's a break-even point if you stay as is versus you do the refi. There will be there's a point which is almost the same. And then you will decide if it worth to do the refi to go through the whole process, start the clock again, versus you stay as is, just pay it off in 10 years. Remember, you want to limit as much interest as possible, right? So it's not
Right.
a simple by if your interest can be lowered 0.5%, you go for it. You have to do the calculation, do the comparison.
So for let's say my mortgage is 2,000 a month. Is it if I pay every, let's say 2 weeks, if I pay 1,000 and then 1,000, does that cut down on your
Yes,
mortgage length?
yes. So if you do 26 weeks, which is bi-weekly, because we have 52 weeks, right? Versus you pay 12 months. If you can pay more frequently, even at say $100 more or $300 more, the early you pay, the less amount of interest you'll end up paying. because whatever you pay into it, the excess amount will always go into your principal. So
Okay.
the early you can pay your principal, the less interest rate you're gonna pay. So there's also a calculator to pay to
Okay.
do the comparison as well. But yes, definitely, if you can pay extra, pay that early and save
And
some tax, save
do
some interest.
do we have to be cautious about like front end and back end interest on anything anymore, or is it always
If you amortize it, it's just really stretching it out. There's the amortization table. Most of the mortgage right now is just amortized
okay?
15 years, 30 years. Yeah.
So where would, well, let me ask you this. Do you teach in your school or guide in your school on how to find private investors or partners to do all this?
It's not one of the specific pillar of what I'm teaching, but the leverage part, which is all about OPM, will mention that a little bit. To me, finding out people with money to use for your own investment will always be the best strategy. Since you're just say I buy a property 50,000, right? If I use 20% of my own money versus I use 0% of my money. The
Oh,
second situation, just say Cynthia, you lend me 50,000. I have no money into this deal.
so you're,
My return will be infinite because there's no my money in that,
yeah, you don't
right?
have to get paid back first. You're getting
Yeah,
money.
exactly. But in the meantime, how you find people to trust you and give you their hard-earned money, it's a huge topic, right? You have to be trustworthy. You have people will have to know you, trust you, like you, and then they also need to confirm your ability, right? There's a lot of people they just cannot pull the whole real estate investment together. There are
Right,
people falling, right? It's just you have to position yourself so people will be willing to hand their hard-earned money saying, hey, Cynthia, take this 50,000, give
right,
me 10%, give me whatever the terms you agreed. But in the meantime, when you get other people's money, the integrity is so much important, right? You
right.
have to treat other people's money as your own, and you really have to have the plan how you pay that back. The same as when we say the 0% APR, right? Yeah, it's great to have the money we could use, but if you go buy a Tesla, you have no
Yeah.
plan to how to pay it. It 12 months, 18 months will come here very quickly, and you don't
Yeah,
have other cash flow to pay that whatever money you use. You just get yourself into the same trap. The same as private money lending, there always a term, right? If when you gave me money, if I'm borrowing it, there will be 3 years, 5 years, whatever. We're talking about there's a deadline. I have to pay every month, whatever the term. I have to pay your interest. Eventually, I have to give your principal back, right?
true.
And I have to have the plan how I afford your interest, use your money, and how I get your principal back at the deadline, whatever we agreed in the very beginning.
So do you ever
So
do balloon payments or is that too risky for your investments?
I think it really depends. Right now, most of my investment is all the regular 30-year mortgage. The commercial property, we do have the 5 year, but I will just go do the regular refi. And most of the commercial properties are 5 year loan, but you can always, there are people you can get 15 or 20-year loan on the commercial property.
Okay.
But you can just, go refi it and get to another new loan. Just wrap the previous loan up and then go get another new loan.
So you're able to do some of this stuff tax free though?
You're talking about the 1031 exchange or
Or
when you
like,
say do
well,
this
whether it's
tax-free.
income, any kind of tax, income tax or property, well, you'd still pay property tax, right?
Yes.
Whatever taxes
Mhm.
you cut out. Um, do you ever like live in the property for a year as
Oh,
you
the
fix
house
it up?
hacking? No, that is a strategy called house hacking. A lot of people buy a duplex, fix one, fix whatever you live, fix the other one, and rent it the other one, and then eventually they move out to another property and rent the second unit. We never did that. We just regular buy a single family house and make that whole house as a rental property.
That's so impressive. Like, I love hearing your story.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, I would like to invite you back as your community grows. I will be leaving the link in the comments. And Jing, I know you and I talked about meeting afterwards. Did you still want to do that? We can log off, log back in. Would you like to do that?
Definitely. Do
All
you
right.
want me wrap up
Yes.
okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Cynthia. I really appreciate this opportunity. And then if I know you will link the AMC school link, and then feel free to join. And then to me, it's about learning. I just share with Cynthia not only learning, but start doing it on consistent basis, and then in the right tax bracket, and you will see your money start growing rapidly.
We're on our way to be millionaires. I love it. Thank you so much, Jing.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity, Cynthia.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.